there's still a little bit of Ferris Bueller in this player that we got to get rid of.
Exactly.
All right?
You don't have the liberty. You cannot call an audible, even if it's going to work for a touchdown. Don't start believing. I'm just kidding, guys. But I did have my friend Ben on to talk some Broncos. He's a Broncos content creator. You guys might remember him from the AFC West roundtable I did for a very short amount of time. In this episode of NFLMike's Corner, we're talking all Bo Nix and how he's done so far this season. He's coming off his best game of his career so far against the Las Vegas Raiders. So I'm going to have Ben break it down for us. Obviously, I haven't watched all of Bo Nix's plays, but he has. So he's going to give you guys a good breakdown of Bo Nix, unbiased, I'm completely sure. I'll put the link in the description to all of his stuff if you guys want to go check it out and follow if you're a Broncos fan, subscribe, turn on notifications, do all that beautiful stuff. But first, make sure you're subscribed to this channel with your notifications on and that you like the video. Helps out a ton in the algorithm to get this video out to more NFL fans like me and you. All right, enough of my yapping. Let's get to the conversation about Bo Nix.
I agree their fan base isn't in Vegas yet because it's everybody wants to party and go to it, but that fan base is bigger than probably both of ours combined, right?
It's bigger, but that's not always better. Sometimes it's about the motion in the ocean.
I try to tell my wife that all
you know
the
what I mean?
time.
It's not always it's not always about the size. You know what I mean? Sometimes you want quality over quantity. Quality over quantity, and I guarantee you get any sensible Raiders fan on this microphone, they will tell you that like 75% of that fan base is straight garbage.
Oh, I would
ask him in 20 minutes. Ask him in 20 minutes. I forgot about the show. I'm so ready to just cook the Raiders. Like I forgot about the entire show we had planned.
No,
I just want to sit here and roast the fucking Raiders. But anyways, the original show we had planned was to talk about Bo Nix and how you haven't stopped believing.
Are we harmonizing? Oh my goodness, we're doing it. We both believe.
I want your unbiased take. We've seen 5 games so far. What's the thoughts on Bo Nix? You got to give me what's going good, and I need some stuff he needs to improve on.
Yeah. Okay. I will have all of those things. And completely unbiasedly, he is, without a doubt, the best Oregon quarterback in our division. That's a cold, hard fact. Clip it for TikTok.
Vote in the comments. My 3 or 4 viewers can vote in the comments on that.
Okay, so my true unbiased take is Bo Nix is our franchise quarterback, and I've seen massive steps forward in every single game that he's played. I think a lot of people, like my phone was blowing up with people during that Jets game, like, hey, Bo Nix, I have more passing yards at half than Bo Nix because he had -7 passing yards at half at MetLife. And if you actually watch the game, and you mentioned it on my show, so props to you, like it was a torrential downpour. He looked like he was throwing a greased watermelon or like some of the baby oil from a P. Diddy party, dude. Like it was legit a hard place to throw. And so you got to throw that out. And then when you actually look at this Raiders game, for example, I think you're finally starting to see that Sean Payton has like a secret part of his playbook that he's never had to groom a rookie quarterback before. And so he's given him like baby steps. And so you've just seen more and more of the playbook open up each and every week, and he's risen to it. We saw that like last week, and I know it was against the Raiders, but we were the best team under gun or under center rather. And Bo Nix, like the first couple games, he was like couldn't even roll to his left when he was under gun. Like his footwork was just awful because he was running an air raid offense at Oregon. So I do think all the stuff that Sean said in the offseason, like I'm better at this than anyone else. Like he went out and bragged about it. He bragged about tricking the Raiders into not trading up for him. He bragged about tricking the Vikings to get JJ. And then you just see the trust Sean has in him, that even in that game against the Jets with the torrential downpour, we have first down and at 1st and 10, and we're like normally just hand the ball off and milk the clock, 3-minute drill. And he drops back to pass 3 times and was on pace to throw 30 times or 50 times in that Tampa game. We were up so big, he only ended up throwing at 37 or something like that. But Sean Payton believes in him. I believe in him. And I think we're eating the bulk of Russell Wilson's dead cap money this year. And he's going to have the opportunity to just stock the cupboard next year with more talent that can produce for him.
Hey, that's about as good a breakdown as you can possibly give. I haven't got my eyes on every single Bo Nix play, but what I saw in that Raiders game, was a lot of fun to watch, especially against the freaking Raiders. Hey, sorry for interrupting myself, but one quick reminder before you forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you can be here every single time I post. It's the free way you guys can support the channel. We're trying to build something special here very early on in the stages here. We only have 10,000 subscribers. We're trying to get 20,000 subscribers. The only way that's possible is if you guys support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, turn on notifications. Protected the ball, throwing it all over the field, down the field, over the middle, short, hitting the running backs in the check down game as well. It's his best game so far, and he's coming off it here against my Chargers. This is a different defense. This is going to come for him. But I will say, doing well against that Tampa defense is also something to hang your hat on. They're pretty solid. Their secondary,
they were without Vita Vea, so that I feel like this will be the toughest defense he's faced.
100%.
Other than
Pass
the
rush,
Steelers.
definitely.
Steelers are good too, but he didn't look great against the Steelers. So
who's been his top target so far?
Cortland, but it's like his interceptions have all been targeting Cortland, and it's almost been like he's force fed that a couple times. Early on, it was the dude everyone was making fun of me for on Roundtable. It was Devon Vele, the guy we got in the 7th round, who maps perfectly to Marcus Colston in the round he was picked in his RAS score, all of that, and then he had a rib injury, and so he was deactivated because of that. And Troy Franklin kind of took all those snaps from him. And you do see that chemistry with Bo and Troy Franklin, and just hope that those former Oregon Ducks can light it up. Franklin gets open all the time, but already had a drop on a 45-yard dime that Bo just put right in the pocket, and he dropped it. So, yeah.
Okay. So it's basically been a mixture of guys kind of similar to the Chargers.
Yeah, dude, he set a Broncos franchise record, and you got to remember we had Peyton Manning and Elway. He hit 11 dudes on Sunday. Like, that's no one had ever done
11
that.
different players is what you mean.
You can't even think. Yeah,
Okay.
you can't even name. It'd be hard for me to rattle them all off like I could because I'm an alpha. But yeah, throwing it to 11 different players is incredible.
That's alpha right there. Throwing it to 11 different players. That's some Peyton Manning type of stuff. Okay, so what about some of the sour moments though? What can he improve on? Well, where can Bo Nix get even better on? I know it's not been perfect. I mean, I'm looking at some of these stat lines and it's not been perfect.
Yeah. Footwork for sure. Like,
okay.
You know, he had a gorgeous like flea flicker where it was his best play of the year, and you're like pumped because it was like a 50-yard bomb to Josh Reynolds. But if you look at it, if he had just stepped up instead of fading back, he could have hit him for a touchdown. Instead, we're down at the 5-yard line and settled for a field goal there. So I think definitely his footwork, but that is getting better every week. And then I would say something that's kind of bubbled up that might be cool for YouTube is like he and Sean Payton got in their first fight. And you remember last year, you know, Peyton and Russell Wilson had at it. And Russell Wilson like walked off with his tail between his legs and was embarrassed. And the post-game press conference is like, yeah, when you're a leader of men, like Sierra and I always talk about on my brand and in my Hummer and Broncos country, let's ride. And like Bo Nix actually like gave it back to Sean. And that's what Drew Brees said you have to do, is like you have to actually stand up to Sean Payton. And Bo Nix did that as a 25-year-old rookie quarterback. Like that's impressive to do. So I'd say like could he put his own stamp on this team and not just be a robot quarterback? There's some Broncos radio personalities who call him like Robo or like Robot Nix, but they like really emphasize the Bo part, that he's just a robot and isn't putting his own stamp on it. And I think that's like what makes Patrick Mahomes great, is like, and even Aaron Rodgers, like they've talked about, like the play that's called and then the artistry that you bring to it. And there hasn't been a ton of that from Bo.
Okay. Yeah. I think the Chargers are really going to test his decision making in this game. Especially like in that Seattle game, which was one I watched really closely, his first game of his career, just throwing it straight into triple coverage. I've seen a few interceptions that have been dropped here. So I think the Chargers are really going to test that too and see if he's sound for the entire game. He throws 27 times in this game. Also, I'm just doing some math here. The Chargers are going to get to him 15, 17, 20 times out of those 27 completions, and he's going to have to make a split-second decision with a guy in his face. And we'll see what happens there, because I think that it's
And
going
we
to
got a
turn
banged up
into
offensive line too, dude.
will turn into an interception. And even if the Chargers don't pull away with it and they don't end up blowing the Broncos out in this game, maybe they can build a lead that just kind of almost snowballs, because now you got Bo Nix going out there after mistakes, piling on mistakes. And that argument with Peyton, just the last thing on Bo Nix here. What was the argument about? Because I usually am the one to immediately overreact, especially when it's my division rivals, like capture that virality, really be an internet person, and then figure it out later. I didn't get a chance to overreact to that this last week, so I was really bummed out about it. So now I just get to figure out what happened.
Yeah, so it was actually like one of the sickest plays of the day. So he had Troy Franklin up at the top of our screen, and Bo Nix flipped the play at the line of scrimmage, and Troy Franklin came in motion, and they ran it at the bottom of the screen, and basically like that was against their faster corner was down at the bottom, like Jack, whatever his name is, who ran like a 4.3 40. At the top of his screen was their slower corner, and that's like Sean Payton wanted him up there. Bo Nix flips the play at it and had him wide open, dude, and like Franklin dropped it. So it was the prettiest throw of the day. It would have like blown the lid off of all of Denver. And so it turned out awesome. He comes back to the sideline and Sean Payton's pointing at the playbook like, dude, that's not the play I called. You flipped it. And Bo Nix pushes back like, dude, I had him wide open in the end zone. He just dropped the pass. And so they went back and forth on it. And Sean Payton, after the fact, said that they asked, hey, what's up with that thing with Bo? And he's like, well, he's still got a little Ferris Bueller in him. And no one gets that reference because Sean Payton's old, but it just like he's pushing back against authority. He thinks he can be a rogue operator. He said it. And the next thing he said is, I love him to death. He's my quarterback, but we just got to get some of that Ferris Bueller out of him. And then they asked Bo, like, hey, what happened with you and Sean? And he's like, well, Sean just looked at me and said, Bo, I love you. And I looked back at him and I said, I love you too. And so like the Denver media loved that, like his ability to use humor to kind of diffuse it. But since then, Sean Payton came out on an interview yesterday and said, I love that he gave it back to me and love the fire in it. So it definitely has a much different feel than the Russell Wilson blow up last year.
So this wasn't a Robert Saleh,
no,
Aaron Rodgers argument here. This wasn't one of those.
No, goodness me, dude, that's wild.
That's exactly what I thought it would be when I first saw the replay. I was just like, this is just a rookie getting fired up about a game. You're on a winning streak too, so you kind of starting to get a little hot-headed. But Sean Payton saying that Bueller comment, which I haven't heard yet, it even goes to what I'm thinking. Like, kid, you still can't do that. Yeah. Remember who you're talking to. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why I called the play this way. Yeah. Run it that way. You do not have the liberty to call audibles. So
exactly.
You don't have the liberty. You cannot call an audible, even if it's going to work for a touchdown. Because
Sean's setting up,
it doesn't
like, that play and the next one and the next one and the next one, you know? So I get both sides. It is
when Sean's chewing out Bo on the bench. That's when it doesn't work out, and it'll be the flip side.
Yeah. 100%, man.
All right. Yeah. I'm glad we got to talk about that, get that out of the way. But I'm glad to hear the Broncos fans are feeling excited about Bo Nix. Not for long. Only a couple days longer. Tick, tick, tick. This is how they felt about Gardner Minshew, too.
No, dude, it's nowhere close. Like,
shout out all your stuff real quick again. I'm going to put it in the intro, but say it in the outro, too.
Soorts Talk Denver. Only jump on if the Chargers lose and give me some love. Much love, y'all.
Thank you for tuning in to another NFLMike video. Now it's time to go make more football friends or go and compete in the Mike's Pickems Challenge or against me in daily fantasy football challenges by joining my completely free NFL group chat. Or head to fifthdown.shop and check out and see if we got your team's newest designs. Or now you can simply rep your favorite players without having to wear another team's gear. And then tag us in pictures of you wearing your Fifth Down merch for a shout out in the next episode of NFL Mike's Corner. And help us reach our goal of getting 1,000 NFL fans wearing Fifth Down. Or you can head to the next NFL Mike video by clicking it. It's on your screen. Go ahead.